Hi, this is Gurasi Singh, and you're listening to my Thick Accent podcast. So, I moved to Canada in 2018 as an international student to Montreal, Quebec. I still remember the day I enrolled for the program and paid the fee for the college with the thought that I hope I'm investing my father's money into the right thing, along with thousand other worrisome thoughts crossing my mind as my departure date was coming closer. Was I excited? Yes. Anxious? Definitely yes. But I wish I had met my guest today during that preparation process. He also moved to Canada as an international student in 2016 from India. He now runs a YouTube channel named Immigrant to educate and guide the new and upcoming international students through their journey of finding the right course, potential job opportunities, managing the coursework and finances by interviewing international students who have had the first hand experience of certain programs and jobs. Let's hear more from him about his journey from being an immigrant to starting Immigrant. Please welcome Sagar Khanna.
Hey Gurazis, thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here.
Glad to hear it. So now the tables have turned. You are the one answering the questions. How you're feeling about that?
Yeah, it's. I was thinking like usually on my YouTube channel I have invited like I don't know even more than 60 people, and it's always me who are asking questions, and now I'm on the other side of the table, so it's a bit different now. I can feel the pressure, what the other person is always feeling when I ask the questions. But yeah, it's fun, and it's about helping people and spread awareness and the information. So again, it's great to be here.
So before we talk more about Immigrant, I would like to take you back to the time before you came to Canada. Tell us, where are you from and what were you doing in India before you moved?
So yeah, definitely. I came to, as you mentioned in the intro as well, I came to Canada in 2016. But before that, I'm basically from Faridabad. It's a city in Haryana, the capital district, Haryana, and so I came here in 2016. After completing my mechanical engineering. So as you know that a lot of people in India, they follow
Mhm.
that engineering route, and I was also one of them. So I did mechanical engineering. It was, as you know, a lot of people know that it's 4 year bachelor's program, and this was my educational background. I didn't really have any professional experience, but I guess while like I was very passionate. I was like a fitness freak, right? So I thought of pursuing that as a profession, as a occupation, and for that I also took the certification in personal training. So I was working as a personal trainer. I worked for like 3-4 months, and
Uh-huh.
later I realized, there's a difference between a hobby and a profession, right? So something which you like doing, not necessarily you would be able to pass it on to others, and something. So basically, there are some things in life you should keep it as a hobby, and try not to make money out of it, sort of thing that I felt and that I realized. So I quit the job, and then I got a job in sales. I used to work for Starwood Hotels. Now it's been acquired by Marriott Hotel, so now it's been the largest international hotel chain. I was working as a sales rep there. I spent like 4 months, and then while working I realized, okay, this is not something I really want to do. And I wanted to explore, and I wanted to grow and enhance my skills, because one thing that actually got me here was, I was very, and it's a part of Indian culture. Nothing against it. I love the culture and everything, but I was very dependent on my family and my parents, right? And that's when I realized, okay, this is the time. I should move out, and I always wanted to move to a foreign country or study abroad. I had it in the mind before as well, but never worked. It never worked out, and then I said, okay, this is the time. I've done my graduation, and I should go further and step out of my comfort zone. And yeah, here I am.
You said it very right, Sagar. I would like to highlight here that sometimes hobbies should be kept as a hobby rather than monetizing it because it kind of takes out the
Right.
fun out of it. And the second thing, the same happened with me. I was very much dependent on my parents and wanted to do something of my own which brought me here in abroad. Moving on, Sagar, do you remember the first day when you landed? What was going on in your mind?
Oh, okay. That's you're gonna take me to the memory lane. Okay, I do remember. That's today. I think nobody will forget. Even I know, like you will also still remember the day
Oh,
that we
yeah.
first landed. It was exciting. Everything, like the first day was very full of rainbows and sunshine, right? And later on, the reality kicked in. But we'll talk about it later. But the very first day I landed, like we got the transportation and accommodation from the college itself. So that was one of the reasons that was very soothing and very calming, because everything we got it at the doorstep. So it was not like struggling for the first day. I was clicking pictures. I was like, okay, this is foreign country. I was talking to my parents. I'm here, and the cars are stopping for me, because that's the Western culture, right? That they will stop for you, rather than there was a difference when we move in India, like nobody really stopped for you. Talking about the traffic, right? So that was something that I still remember. I took a picture of a car, stopping, and it was different. It was very full of excitement, and but later on it changed all of a sudden when when the life started as an international student, I would say. But the first day was very full of excitement, and full of, like, we are in a new world, and again everything was new. So
Okay, so movie dive deep into the cultural shock. Tell me, how was your college? What differences did you see in terms of teaching and learning both?
That's a good question. I think a lot of differences. Most of the learning was, through the presentations, right? It was nothing from the books, as we were used to back home, right? Everything will be. We used to buy a lot of books. I remember spending a lot of money on the books itself, and now here in Canada, everything was sort of like on the like the professors will teach you to the presentations, and even the exams and everything were just like MCQs. And one thing that was really for me was different was the group assignments, like the group part. Right, the
Mhm.
most of the assignments were in the group, so that's what I learned, like the teamwork and how to work with other people, which actually helped me in my professional life as well. So that was very different. It was very sort of like a engaging environment, I would say. The professors were friendly, and you're not like supposed to say them sir or ma'am. That was again something different, so you can call them out by their name. And it was very friendly and engaging environment, I would say, which was sort of like different back home is more like paying respect, which is great. I think Indian culture in that term, paying respect to the teachers and professors. This respect is here as well, but it's, again, as I said, it's more of like guards down thing. So you can engage better, and you can open up yourself with the professors, and I think that was something different.
The thing that you said about calling them by the name, trust me, even until my last day, I was not able to call my professors by their name. I was still saying sir or ma'am. So I know what you are trying to say. So, what was there anything, Sagar, that you were not prepared for before coming to Canada? Like, for instance, for me, I knew I had to do all the chores myself, but I wasn't prepared for the never ending apartment hunting. I was moving places like every new week. So, yes, now we know about many options that are available, but at that time, you just try to save as much money as you can. So, did you have any similar or any other experiences that you were not prepared for initial time?
Wow, that's a big question. There are actually things, yeah, that I was not expecting. Um, One that you mentioned as well, accommodation, like finding an accommodation. That was
Mhm.
another story. I remember, as I said, like we got a accommodation through the college itself for first 2 days, and the second day, 12 p.m. when we checked out, I still remember I was in the hotel lobby for about like 8 hours,
Mhm.
because I had nowhere to go. And something that I would have done before, have to done my research, like at least to know some resources that I could look out for. But sitting there for 8 hours with my luggage all over, like, it was like three bags, one cabin bag, my the other the luggage, and the receptionist was kind enough. He didn't say anything. He didn't kick us out, which was great. So me and my friend were sitting in the lobby, and luckily we found someone through someone, and we got the accommodation, which was another experience that I remember. Another thing that I was not expecting is the people, right? So I made a lot of friends through the different odd jobs that I've done, different
Mm-hmm.
part-time jobs. But again, not everybody is your friend, right? Again, that's what I learned, and that's what I was not expecting about the world, that I should have learned before. But again, as I said, that I was more dependent on my family when I was in India, and I never, used to go out much and interact with people, which I have to break, like you call it, break the ice, right? So I did that. And you have to, right, you have to put yourself out.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do so, you learn a lot of things, and which is again beyond your expectations. So the people, there were good experiences, were not so good experiences, with how people take advantage. Especially you being an international student, an immigrant, you're not. They know, right? People know how to again use you and take advantage of the fact that you're new to the country and not aware of the rules and regulations. So that was something that was not expected at all. So yeah, I think that's what I can think of right now, the accommodation thing, and something about people.
Yeah, you said it right that when we are in India, we're very much under the shelter of our parents, and then we come here and doing everything on our own, taking the first step to ask for help, or it could be anything. I remember you talk about the job, and recently a mutual friend of ours shared a story of an international student who was exploited by a subway owner and was not paid for the training days that he has done. So, because the immigrants are so desperate to make ends meet, they are taken undue advantage of, like you mentioned. And you also had a similar experience, but you didn't tolerate it. Please share with us that story.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for bringing that up. The guy who put it on LinkedIn, I actually shared that on my on his post, commenting the same incident. So
Hmm.
out of all the part-time jobs I've done, so basically I did, like, my first job was factory labor. I worked in construction. I worked as a server. I worked as a security guard, as a cleaner. So out of all the jobs, as a sales rep, I got a chance to work in a restaurant. To be very
Okay.
specific, it was an Indian restaurant.
Hmm.
Um, and the person, the owner, the manager was very nice, but unfortunately, I still remember, I think his father passed away. So and that's the reason I actually joined the restaurant, because the treatment I got from the manager was really he was very nice and friendly. But unfortunately, he had to go back, and then I was introduced to the owner, which was complete different personality. He was so rude. He will just yell and shout on you for no reason. And there was one particular incident that happened. So you know that they have dishwashing, right? And I
Hmm.
was doing the dishwashing, and they had this machine.
Okay.
Never used that in my life before, because again, we I don't know if we have it here in India, and I actually never worked in a restaurant in India. I never expected to do so as well. And I was washing the dishes, and I think I put like few plates less than it was supposed to take, like the first load.
Hmm.
And he came there all the way through. He was cooking, so he was basically a chef and the owner. So he came all the way through that kitchen, and he saw me washing the dishes, right? And it's like, do you know I spent $3 for each load? And if you don't fill it up, it's gonna waste my $3. And it was in front of everyone. He insulted me just for $3, and again, it was very disheartening. And that day, I decided, okay, I'm not going there. Apart from the fact that he was paying very less, and the insult and the behavior that he had, I even didn't go there to take my check. And I say, you keep it. I wasted your $3. You can take more. It was my paycheck was, I think, $60 something. I say, you can keep it. I'm not gonna go back there. And that was it. It was only a week that I worked there, and yeah, it was very sad and very disappointing that the behavior he had for and all the people were working there, the service, very nice. They helped me a
Hmm.
lot, and they were all international students. But and I don't know how they they worked there, and they took all that. But I couldn't, so I just left the job. I said, okay, you keep your money, you keep your job, and I'll find something else.
Good for you. I'm glad you did that. Like you said, there were other students as well. And I'm glad that you got the courage to just move it. But I also don't blame those international students because just to make ends
Right.
meet, they have to do something.
Yeah.
So it's just really horrible on the part of these owners, even ethically, morally. How can you just do that?
Yeah.
Not pay them the money that they deserve.
Right, and for a fact that they've been through the same experience, right? They were immigrant, and they're actually immigrants, right? They moved to the new country, the same thing. If they have sailed the same boat, and then, so people were listening to this, please, 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 treat everyone well, especially the immigrants, because again, it's a new world for them, and you never know, who is coming from what kind of background, and what how the life is for the person in their home country. So again, be empathetic, be helpful, I would say.
Yeah, the least we can do is just talk to anybody we come across and educate them about the rights that they have.
Right, right, exactly.
So since you have interviewed many international students on your channel and as per your personal experiences, what advice would you give to anybody who is looking for a part-time job?
One great piece of advice that I would like to give, it's to, again, as I said earlier as well, to throw out, like, to go out and explore. Uh, don't be shy. Don't just sit in that little box and think that the opportunity will knock your door. You really, really have to, especially if you're moving to a new country. You really have to, because it's going to be a lot of competition, because it's not just you, right? It's people moving from different parts of the world. It's not even just you, fighting against your own community. I'm sorry, I should use the word competing against, not fighting. And there are a lot of agencies, like recruitment agencies, definitely can take help from. There are actually a lot of opportunities apart from the competition, but only thing how you make yourself stand out. And don't what do you call that? Don't settle for less. Okay, don't just say if you're an international student, if you're an immigrant, don't let anyone take advantage of that. You have your own personality. You have made one of the biggest decisions of your life, moving away from your family and friends. So definitely there's something in you that has brought you here. Never forget that. And then again, as I said, never let anyone take advantage of you being an international student or an immigrant.
Great words, Sagar. You said it right. Are there any? You stayed in Ontario all this time, right?
I never got a chance to settle in any other province. I was in Ontario, since
So
2016.
do you know about any? Can you name any certain agencies or recruiting agencies that you know of?
I can. So there is difference between a part-time kind of recruitment agencies and full-time. As I'm not into, like, I'm not a student anymore. It's been a long time. I can't really think of any part-time agencies, but there are a lot of full-time that I can name out. There's Randstad, there's Robert Half, um, there's Erico, which help you in finding a full-time job. I'm not sure if they actually help you with part-time, but there's always job portals. Definitely, you can look. I think I found my cleaning job through Indeed. So there are job portals like Indeed, Glassdoor, that you can explore as well. Basically, don't rely on just one particular source, right? Even if I said agencies, it's not just only agencies can help you. Now it's completely changed because of COVID. But before, one thing that I did as well, I actually went with my resumes and handed out to different stores and malls and cafes, and that's something that you can do as well. But I'm assuming that that has been changed because of COVID. So
Oh yeah, COVID has definitely changed a lot of things for all of
right.
us. So Sagar, let's just talk about culture shock now. We arrive in Canada and find ourselves surrounded by a completely new culture. And you also had a taste of it in the initial months, just like all of us. When you were using the public transit, you had a little conversation with somebody. Please tell us all about that.
Yeah. Again, something that I will never forget, and this relates to your podcast channel a lot because it was on the accent. So I was on the bus. I remember I hopped on a bus. My second day. I think, yeah, it was my second day, and I was going to. a Good Life Fitness. I still remember Good Life Fitness, just to hand out the resume, because I had some,
Hmm.
trainer experience, and I thought, why not to use it. So I was going to the gym. So I wasn't, obviously I was not sure about the route, and I thought of taking the help from the transit, from the driver, the TTC driver. And then I said, sir, I showed my phone, and I said, sir, do you know this location? And he said, sorry. He was not understanding what I was saying, obviously, because I had a broken English. It's not my first language, and it's a different accent altogether. That's a fact, right? You can't change it. So you have to be clear
Hmm.
enough. So I said, sir, sorry, can you help me? And he knew for a fact that I'm asking, that's the other thing, right? He knew for a fact that I'm asking,
Hmm.
definitely, if I'm showing my phone and if I'm on the bus, I'm asking him the location, right? So it's kind of like he was doing it on purpose. So he snatched the phone out of my hand. It's like, your accent is too thick. I can't understand what you're saying. Let me, see it myself. He helped me eventually. He told me, like, you have to have to get off on this particular stop. But that incident itself was a bit, again, nothing that I expected. Um, but on the same bus, and this is very interesting, on the same bus there was this African guy. I remember he was sitting on the third seat. And when I after this incident, when I was going there to take my seat as well, he said, do you need any help? The African guy said, yeah, I was, I'm new here and blah blah blah, can you guide me? So he showed me, like, every single thing, and how you can do it on your own, how to exactly, like, what apps to use and stuff like that. And after, like, I think 20 minutes, I was like, by the way, what, when are you getting off? He said, never mind, I already missed my stop, but I'm gonna help you. And those
Oh,
words is still, yeah, still in my head, when I said, don't worry, I'm gonna help you, I already missed my stop, so it's fine. So there are actually, you'll get like that good experience and not so good experience. So, and it happened on the same bus. Then something that I went through from the starting point of the bus, and how it changed in the, when I moved to take my seat. So two different opposite sides. But yeah, I was, again, it's a mix of both good and not so good experience, I guess.
you said it right that there are both kinds of people. There are some who are very welcoming and warm, and then there are others who just get agitated, or maybe going through their own personal struggles in their life. And I remember for me
Right.
as well, I came across some random person who told me about Google Maps, like not the Google Maps, but how to use the transit, how to
Hmm.
find the routes. I definitely
Right.
remember that. Also, I feel about the accent that people should understand that it's just the way we guys have learned to pronounce and say certain things. It just takes a little while to get
Exactly.
accustomed to each other's accents. Even for us, it's
Hmm.
it's it's difficult to understand the native Canadian person, right? It just takes some time to get used to each other's
Right.
accents. Okay, Sagar, now let's just pivot towards your YouTube channel, Immigrant. I, first of all, love the name because it is all about immigration and how to not let the grants one has spent to go in waste. Tell us about the inception of the idea and why you felt the need to start it.
Oh, okay. So, their personal reason, and then the reason of helping out. So the person, on the personal ground, it was like, I was very camera shy. So I'll start with that. So I was very camera shy, and take a lot of efforts for me to sit there and talk in front of the camera, to basically to put myself out there. Being an introvert, it was one of the fears that I had. Right, what the other people, the others gonna say about me, right? How someone gonna judge me, and that was something that I wanted to take out. So that was one thing. Just to start a YouTube channel, to, again, to overcome my fear of expressing myself in front of a camera, and bringing out my personality in front of others without thinking that what others gonna think about me. Um, on the other hand, going through the experience that I had, right, as an international student, uh, there was a lack of I would say, knowledge and guidance when I was looking for a program for myself, right? The career path that I want to pursue in the future in Canada. So I found out like there was a lot of was like really that bridge that need to have like a the actual information from the student. So you can find like a bunch of information on the website, right? But it's different when you hear it out with someone, from someone who has been through the same experience, who have sailed the same boat, right? So that's how it came up to me. Then okay, I have to take out my the fear of this the camera shyness, right? And then this, on the other hand, I want to help people who are planning to move to a new country, right? And rather than me sitting there reading the information from the website and blabbering it out in front of the camera, I thought, okay, I'm gonna actually have people, as I said, we have been through the experience, we have been through the process, to give out the natural, candid information. And that was the only purpose of starting Immigrant channel.
That is amazing how you said. I like how you said that you want to bring in the people who already have the first hand experiences of studying in certain universities and colleges rather than you talking about those institutions. Sagar, can you tell us more about the services that Immigrant provides and where can one connect with you?
Great. So from the YouTube channel, when after like 6 months, getting all the comments, all the questions, I realized that there's still the same. Like it's
Mhm,
2006, what 20 when I started, 2020 when I started. Sorry, and it was 2016 that when I came, right? So even like after 4 years, there's still same set of questions, same myths and misconceptions about studying abroad, studying in Canada, in different professions.
mhm,
And that's when I realized that, okay, this needs to be addressed. And that's when we sort of like took the YouTube channel to the next level, and
mhm,
we incorporated as an incorporation. So now it's Immigrant Inc. There are a bunch of services that we provide, and how we stand out from the so-called agents and consultant. I will come up to that as well. So basically, we help students in finding the right program, making them choose the right college and the province and everything, keeping in mind the two main factors. The first thing is the visa, right? So the program that we have for the person, would it help him or the person to secure the visa to what's the chances of having a visa for that certain program?
hmm.
Because there's no other way you can come here study without a visa, right? That's one thing that you need. It's
Yeah.
impossible without that, right? The second thing is the future scope, the future possibility, and the future the career, right? Working on we focus on two main factors: visa and the career, the career aspect of it, which again, now I'll come to that, like how do we stand out? Because a lot of consultancies back home, and I'm not like pointing out fingers, but it's just from the personal experience, and I think a lot of people listening to it will relate it, and you as well,
Mhm,
that they don't really care, and it's actually their job. Because I'm now doing a certification. I'm soon to become a certified consultant by Canadian government. So it's actually as per the law, as an agent, as an educational agent, you should keep a track of how the student is doing after they land in the destinated country. So if the education agent is sending them to, let's say, Canada, so they should keep a track on, like, if there is everything is okay, if there's something that they can do with accommodation or any sort of other career advice. So there's something that lacks, I guess, with the consultants back home, or the so-called expert counselors and the educational agents, that they don't really care. They will kind of like sell you the program just because of the commissions that they get. um, which again, it's disheartening, because you can ruin someone's career, and after investing a lot of money, right? As you said, that it's a grand investment, and that we make as an international student. So there was that gap that we want to bridge, that gap of that lack of information, and not helping them out throughout the process, like even till the reach the point. And that's what we do as well. Once even the student is here, we help them with the other services, like resume writing, cover letter, networking, which is one of the main things that help you land a job. So again, as I said, visa and both the career aspect of it. That's what we focus on, and that's how we are really proud of what we do.
Perfect. That is so true that the whole process of getting the visa is so overwhelming. So many small factors are to be considered, and you said it right that consultant agencies, they just want to give you the visa and take the money. I'm not saying all are like
Right.
this,
Hmm.
but most of them really don't care what you're gonna do once you land there, because there is life beyond finishing your program as well. We just
Exactly.
focus very much on, you know, keeping just landing in Canada, just coming here is the ultimate goal of everybody. But one should understand that that's the first step, not the ultimate goal.
Exactly.
Eventually you'll understand what you have to go through, and because studies, yes, you got it, but what do you, if you don't get any job about the certain course that you have done, what if there are not enough jobs? And that's where people like you come in. So I would recommend anybody who is listening, who is currently recently immigrated or is planning to immigrant or just need certain guidance, I will highly recommend you guys to reach out to Sagar and his team. You can reach out to them on LinkedIn, Instagram. I'll put the contact details in the show notes as well. Please feel free to check. Okay, Sagar. So now we are in the final segment of the podcast. I call it the final MTA talk. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. You can answer them in one word or a sentence or however you feel like. The idea
Okay.
is just to know more about you.
It's basically like a rapid fire sort of thing.
Sure, you can call it that.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah. I've never done something like that, but yeah, I'm ready.
There's always a first time, Sagar. So
Excited.
this is your first time.
For sure. For sure. All right, let's do it.
Okay, so my first question is, what advice would you give to Sagar, who is in the initial months of landing in Canada?
I will give him advice to. It's fine. It's okay to be an introvert. It's your personality. But when it comes to, actually, uh, like exploring and overcoming that fear, definitely you have to break that barrier and then go out and communicate and interact with people. Overcoming the fear, then you must put the efforts.
Okay. So next is, what is the best piece of advice someone ever gave you?
So it's an advice from my mentor when I was in Toastmasters. So when you join Toastmaster, which is a public speaking club, you get a mentor, right? So it was advice from Joseph, who was my mentor, a great guy. Told me, don't be hard on yourself. So that was the advice. That was the best advice that I got. Don't be hard on yourself.
Absolutely. I think everybody should follow it. We are probably the biggest critique of ourselves, right?
Exactly, right.
So next is, any worst advice someone ever gave you?
Any worse advice? Be hard on yourself.
Okay. So Sagar, who's your go-to person?
Google.
Google? Google? Okay, that was a good one. So what has been your favorite job?
Cleaner. If we talk about the part-time job, when I was a part-time student, I love the cleaning thing. Like it was so easy because Canada itself is very clean. I don't know, they don't really need a cleaner, to be very honest. So I would just like mop the floor and vacuum, and that's it. Then I relax a bit, and very easy going job. So I really loved doing cleaning. I was a cleaner for almost like a year now. I worked in a bank. I used to clean the stadium after the match and gym. I never thought, like in India I was a gym trainer, right? And here I was cleaning gym. So yeah, cleaning I would say was something that I liked as a part time.
Okay. So Sagar, if you had to eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
One meal for the rest of my life. I was a salad, chicken salad, so I don't, be overweight. And I love chicken salad, to be honest. That's what I eat like most of the time.
Okay, that sounds tasty.
What was yours? You were saying something.
Yeah, I was saying that mine would be lentils and rice, like we guys call it dal chawal.
Uh
I
huh.
think I can have that, for the
Okay.
longest time
Mhm.
possible. Okay, so next is there something you recently bought and now you regret?
I don't really shop a lot, to be honest. I'm not like a spender. I don't shop much. Yeah, so nothing. I think everything I bought, fortunately, is being used, and nothing that I can think of that I regret buying because I don't shop a lot. Yeah, I don't. Sometimes I buy like you know facial creams and stuff that never work out. So that's something that I regret. Like I bought a serum, put it on my face because I had this fear that I look like red. I don't look fair. There was something again mentally wrong with me, and I even showed to the doctor, and doctor was like, "There's nothing wrong with your face," and I was like, "That's the thing, right? Nobody see it, but I see it when I see it myself in the mirror." And then they gave me a serum to put it on my face. That again, I don't care now. And I felt like when you care less, you don't really, you have nothing then.
Oh, absolutely. So, Sagar, are you a night owl or an early bird?
Uh, I would say early bird. Yeah, I like waking up early, and yeah, that's been like from childhood. Yeah, so an early bird, I would say.
Okay. So, what's the one video that you recommend immigrants to see on your channel?
There was a video that I did with a guy named Garasis. I highly recommend people to watch that.
No, now you're being generous here. No, no, tell me.
It depends because there's not a video based on like if you're gonna do project management, right? There's a video with Nick Hill. So it depends, like basically what kind of career you want to take, what kind of program you're looking for. If you want to go for like advertising, then watch Garasis, right? If you want to go for MBA, watch Mika. So that depends on actually what you're looking for.
Okay. So, describe Canada in one word
Um,
or a sentence.
okay, I'll go like I would say land of opportunities.
That's exactly what I was thinking. You just read my mind.
Yeah, I think that's just true, right? Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. So, Sagar, on that note, those are all my questions. Thank you for being on the show and adding value to my listeners.
Thank you, Garasi. It was really, really nice and talking to you. As you know, sitting on the other side of the table, as I said, answering all the questions. Was not used to it, but thanks to you. Thanks for this wonderful initiative, My Thick Accent. I love the name and I love the concept. Wish you all the best. And you're very hardworking. You woke up like 6:30 a.m. on your day off, which shows a lot. Wish you all the best and all the best to your listeners as well. And yeah, thanks once again.
Thank you for your kind words, Sagar, and you do what you got to do, right?
Exactly.
Okay, thank you again, and I wish you good luck as well.
Thanks a lot.
Hey, listener, thank you for making it to the end. I highly, highly appreciate you listening the podcast. Subscribe to the podcast if you haven't as yet, and please share with your friends or anybody you think would like it. And like I always say, we encourage you to follow your heart, but also us on Instagram. The handle is My Thick Accent. You can also leave us a review or write to us at hello@mythickaccent.com. So stay tuned and let's continue knowing each other beneath the accent.